Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by.
JJ Pinestone, straight out of Finland.
It's great to be chatting to you today. I've got to say, your album definitely takes me back to my youth, reminded me of many bands from my youth. Tell us your main goal and inspirations behind this work of art.
Oh, what were the inspirations? Generally, 80s heavy metal from of course UK, like from this
I
band,
mean, yeah.
and a lot, yes, and a lot of American bands as well, like Motley Crue, Rad, Poison, you name it. You can actually almost hear every single influence on the whole album. But also, I tried to made it more like with the modern tunes, to have that, the heavy punch that you can do nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, Finland's sort of synonymous for death metal bands, isn't it? More than anything. So you're a bit
Yeah,
different, totally a bit
yeah, a
different.
bit different. And the funny fact is that, actually last day I was actually on a gig with my metal band Takalaiton, which is of course, the crossover of thrash metal and death metal, because that's the that's the main thing everybody plays in here. But that's probably one of the reasons why I decided to make a solo album, because I'm from a small town in the eastern Finland, from Lappeenranta, and there's not that much of musicians here to,
Yeah.
build bands. So first of all, I kind of, like I did like 3 tracks first, and then I started to ask, a lot of musicians that, would you be interested to play in one of these? And I had some old folks that I used to play with, and they everybody was like, I actually the first guys that I asked to join the band, they were the guys that stayed there, and they were like, I'm fucking definitely in, because you can't find this kind of music in this town, especially.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. So it's only been out a short while. What's the reviews been like then from your fans and media?
I was actually blown away from the all of the reviews has been positive for now. Of course, I'm just waiting, for the first, like review to be like something that bashes the album. But so far, everything has been good. And when the album came out on the 13th day, immediately after 12 o'clock at night, I received a lot of messages like, this album is going to be huge.
Mhm.
In Finland, we have this saying that, a pessimist never gets disappointed. So I'm not like, yeah, this is my way to the top, but I'm glad if there's like 10,000 people that love it, or if there's 10 people that love it, it's all good,
That's amazing. I really love Fool's Anthem as well. That's really different. It's like you have to have a double take with that track. It's like it's rappy, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a bit different, man. But
Yes, because the funny thing that, I always loved the kind of a stomping, drums. Puh,
mm,
bah, puh. But there was like, I was like, if the guitar is gonna be like this, you can't, put some straight line singing on there. And then I
yeah,
just started, to try something out, and I was like, okay, this has a Kid Rock vibe to it. I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing, but we're gonna give it a try.
well, I'd say for the album, right? I mean, it's only 7 tracks, isn't it? But it's
Yes.
definitely. I've rejoined the gym again. It's definitely one just to put on your head, to put onto your music player and listen down the gym, man. Definitely.
Awesome. So that's where we're on point.
Yeah. Step into the time machine and go back to the 80s. Who would be the ultimate band to go out on the road with from that era?
What would be the bands that I would tour with? I would say first Motley Crue. Uh, if it would be possible, I would love to open to these guys.
Yeah,
Motorhead,
man.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool
And
title.
yeah, thanks, dude.
It's
And
cool.
well, definitely Def Leppard, because I think they might be the biggest influence on me.
Hmm.
And also, it's funny, I gotta tell you, because you're from the UK, I've been a huge fan of, England in general since
Yeah,
I was a teenager. Yes,
right.
because I remember when I first found out about Sex Pistols, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, this is straight to your face kind of shit. And then I saw the first live playing from
Yeah,
Sex Pistols. I was like, these guys are horrible, but on the same time, they're so awesome. And I
Yeah.
was like, I just, I was literally addicted to it. But then I started digging more. Of course, I found about Iron Maiden like when I was a kid because my dad was a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
But then I found about Def Leppard, and then the story was told. I was
Yeah.
like, this is the type of music I want to do. Like kick-ass partying music, but done with skill.
I remember, I mean, I can remember being on the school bus, mate. Honestly, that's how old I am. And Def Leppard was just like they were making it big in America, and I've never really got into them. Then they released that album, Pyromania, and then it went
Yeah.
fantastic. And so yeah, been a fan since then.
Yeah,
So,
rest was history.
yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. What are your feelings then about Def Leppard when they released albums like Slang, their later albums? I mean, I'm just a fan up to Hysteria, I think, really, yeah, really. I think, and then that's it, yeah.
I gotta say, I love the which was the album that came after Steve died? Adrenalize.
Yeah,
That is yeah, I love that album also. And like since they put out stuff after like 2010, they are not bad. I gotta say they are good songs, but they don't have that like wow effect on me. I think that maybe it's because in my head I glamorize the 80s times and the huge arena shows. Although they still do the huge arena shows and they fucking kick ass although they're old. But I think that like remarkable album for me after their glory days is Adrenalize. I'd say.
Talk about your thrash band and your time with Calculation. Is that right?
We are still together with Taka Lighton, and the main thing that everybody has been asking that did you like quit the band? I was like should I? Because everything has stayed the same. This is only like my thing, and Taka Lighton is a true thing that we've had for 10 years now. So yeah, we're all active and building another album and probably touring next year. Although it's gonna be pretty tight because I'm gonna have to do a solo tour also. And I was hoping, maybe to catch up something in UK because I've always wanted to play England, of course, because of the bands that I'm a fan of. And also I've never been in the UK to play before.
Have you been over at all for holiday or anything?
No, never.
Okay.
And it's strange because I actually asked one time one of my friends that I should probably go to UK. Are you gonna join me? We were planning on it, but it just fell away. And also I used to be a bartender at that time, so the money was pretty tight. So it was impossible.
Yeah, man, I can't even say. Am I saying it right? Packalation.
Yeah. Packalation. Yes.
Packalation.
Usually foreigners. Yeah. It's a Finnish word for the baseball term where you hit the ball, over the field. That's a Packalaiton.
Is there like a moment with your time with that band that you're most proud of so far?
No. No. Actually, the both, kind of. I would say the both projects are, on the same level. Of course, as a solo album, solo artist, it's always that I have the every string, how to make everything happen. And with Takalainen, I'm like, it's more like this is my idea. What do you guys think? So, I don't know. I would say that well, of course that because the solo album just came out, it's on a different level now. But who knows that like which one is going to be the project that starts to give me something to work on. Poison, open up and say that's one of the top 3. Def Leppard's Hysteria. 1. Oh my god, this is gonna be a hard one. I actually gotta think that for a while. Top 3 is because it's a so small list, it's hard to think. I think I'm have to go with the Probably Molly Crue's Girls, Girls, Girls. I always liked that album.
Yeah, it's a good album, mate. I prefer Shout at the Devil, but yeah, it's up there, isn't it? Definitely. All right.
Yeah, I was, actually, those two were competing in my head,
Yeah,
Shout at
yeah.
the Devil or the Girls, Girls, Girls. But I think the tone is better in Girls, Girls, Girls. Can I say two? Because, there's, a big difference, Yes, I would say when it comes to like attitude, it has to be John Lydon because he wasn't that good of a vocalist, but
No.
the attitude was out of this world.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the best singer from The Who, what was his name?
Roger Daltrey. Roger Daltrey.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Yeah. That guy's range was out of this world.
Definitely, yeah. One of my favorite Who albums is Quadrophenia. Have you ever heard that album?
Oh, I've heard about it, and also a couple of songs from it. But that when I'm like, today I'm going to listen for The Who. It's always the classic one with Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. that album. Favorite bassist, definitely Lemmy. Favorite guitar player. I'm gonna have to say two again because I gotta say that yeah. I would say when it comes to technique and skill, it's gotta be Jimmy Page. But when it comes to like style and attitude, I gotta say CeCe DeVille from Poison.
Okay. That's all right. That's different.
I always like that. I've been watching a lot of his live playing when I was a kid. Right. And I always loved that. He didn't have this generic rock and roll sound. He had more like a metal tone with the guitar. Like lots of gain. And this kind of, he always sounded like that, that you could play thrash metal with this sound also, but he kicked ass in Poison with it.
Brilliant. Who would be your favorite drummer then?
Favorite drummer? Well, it's gotta be Mickey D. Mickey D, yes.
Motorhead, brilliant.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man. Absolutely.
He has the style and he has the technique. Vinyl or digital? Vinyl, definitely.
And your album's been released on vinyl, yeah?
It's gonna be. It's the first release was a digital release because the label that's going to release the album is my label, and it's going to be a physical one when I have money to afford it, to print it. So, yeah, it's going to be on vinyl also.
Exactly. So what song from your album would you play to wake you up from a deep sleep?
From a deep sleep? I'd say Kill Shot, because, that's the song that, which when you open the song, immediately in the first second, pow, pow, comes the stomp. That's a wake up call.
Yeah, cool. If there was a made up song about your personality, what would it be called? Like a totally made up song.
Oh, totally made up song from my personality. They've already made that back in the 80s, and it was called Diary of a Madman.
Brilliant. Aussie, love it. Brilliant. All right. As you finish, do you prefer Lordi or Amorphous?
Lordi or Amorphous? When I was a kid, I would definitely say Lordi, because they were the big thing after Eurovision victory. But when it comes to musical abilities and this kind of, I would say Amorphous.
Great choice. Are you a saint? Are you a saint or a sinner?
Definitely a sinner.
All right, so
no doubt about that.
Leads nicely into my last question then. So, do you prefer a lap band or a lap dance?
Lap band. This one is going to be easy, and that's the lap dance.
I thought your girlfriend or somebody just coming in and hit you then. All right, brilliant. Okay,
yeah.
Final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners.
Well, definitely because you guys are from the UK. I hope to catch up with you during the next year, and before that, prepare yourselves and that album.